not be conceding any territory occupied by Russia for any peace settlement. Now, as Ukraine contemplates an accelerated timetable for negotiations pushed by the US President-elect Donald Trump, Ukraine is putting up much more importance on obtaining security guarantees if eventually there were to be a ceasefire deal. With Ukrainian forces steadily losing ground in the eastern part of the country, two senior officials said that defending Ukraine's interests in any potential ceasefire talks would hinge not on territorial boundaries, which would likely be determined by the fighting, but on what assurances are in place to make the ceasefire hold. Talks should be based on guarantees, security guarantees. For Ukraine, these officials say nothing is more important. The territorial question is important, but it is still a second question. The first question is on security guarantees. What will Ukraine hope to extract if at all there were to be a ceasefire deal? If it has no option but to give up some of its territory, what may Ukraine seek in return? And how is Europe preparing for this possibility? Will it capitulate if the Americans stop funding to Ukraine? Or are leaders in Europe, like Emmanuel Macron, preparing to stand up to Trump in the interests of collective European security? Ukraine has set its borders based on its 1991 Declaration of Independence. Russia has since gained about 20% of Ukrainian land. But Kiev would not formally renounce its claim over any territory that is currently occupied by Russia. Even if there were to be a ceasefire deal, then Ukraine will still claim the conceded territories as occupied territories. That appears to be the approach that Ukraine is taking to justify any possible deal with Russia, if Russia would to retain control of 20% of Ukrainian land. Back in October, President Volodymyr Zelensky, discussing a ceasefire, had said, and I quote, "Everyone understands that no matter what path we take, legally no one will recognize the occupied territories as belonging to the other country." Unquote. Ukraine has had a bitter experience with ceasefires both in 2014 and in 2015 after sparring with Russian forces along the eastern border. Those ceasefires did not prevent more fighting. It simmered for a good 8 years until Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Officials in Kiev have been seeking membership in NATO as a guarantee against any renewed attacks from Russia. Western officials have also signaled that they want Ukraine to join, but not on any kind of accelerated timeline. But Donald Trump is unlikely to concede to this. This was one of the primary reasons why Vladimir Putin attacked Ukraine in the first place, because of Ukraine drawing itself closer to NATO. It also seems to have had the opposite effect with two non-NATO countries up until this war began, that's Finland and Sweden, who have now formally applied to join the military bloc. Russia has for long said that it considers Ukrainian entry into NATO unacceptable. It has signaled that such a move would be a deal breaker for any ceasefire. That's not all. Russia has also said it will want to keep control of the territory that it has captured in Ukraine. That's roughly about 20% of Ukrainian land. Trump has been openly skeptical about continuing American aid to Ukraine. He's also said he can bring about an end to the war in one day without exactly saying how. An immediate issue for any ceasefire is Ukraine's occupation of parts of Kursk, which is in the southwestern part of Russia. The Ukrainian military had invaded this part in August. Kiev sees this territory in Kursk as a potential bargaining chip during talks. But in Moscow, Ukraine leaving from Kursk is almost a prerequisite for beginning negotiations. American officials say about 50,000 Russian and North Korean troops have amassed in Kursk in preparation for a counteroffensive to drive Ukraine away from Russian land. European leaders, particularly French President Emmanuel Macron, are recalibrating their strategies to address these challenges posed by the new political reality under new US President Donald Trump. Macron's approach emphasizes the need for strategic autonomy within Europe. He's aiming to reduce Europe's dependency on the United States and thereby enhance European resilience in the face of increased Russian aggression. Macron has for long advocated a stronger, more independent Europe. This is a vision that has gained urgency after the election of Trump. Macron's call for increased European defense spending is particularly pertinent as Trump has previously threatened to withdraw American support for NATO. He wants European allies to step up their military spending commitments for America to continue to do so. This pressure could lead to a significant shift in how Europe approaches its defense policies, and that could potentially result in increased investment in homegrown military capabilities.
Virtually, viewers, the time has come now for some plain speaking. We're in the final, last leg, literally, before voting begins in Maharashtra and the second phase of Jharkhand. Just 48 hours. And in these final legs of what has been one of the most acrimonious campaigns, election campaigns, one photograph and one soundbite, right at the end, viewers, is all it has taken to expose that the Congress party-led Maha Vikas Aghadi has become not just the conduit for some of the most regressive and dangerous organizations in India, but also, viewers, a decidedly Muslim-first coalition. The MVA, viewers, that is virtually led by a leader that swears by the Constitution, is doing everything to undermine it in letter and spirit, all to privilege its Muslim vote bank. In the first instance, one of the MVA's candidates, who is married to Swara Bhaskar, a one-time Bollywood actor, gender and human rights activist, and bitter Hindutva critic, and you can see, the extreme right of your screens, is seen seeking the blessings of All India Muslim Personal Law Board cleric Nomani, who vowed to settle scores with any Muslim who voted for the BJP in Maharashtra. It was a direct threat to any Muslim who dared to vote for the BJP in Maharashtra. Not only is Nomani a fascist, viewers, because what he's espousing goes completely against the grain of democracy, but he also belongs to a panel that is deeply misogynistic, advocates polygamy, nikah halala, marriage with underage girl children, and is also anti-same-sex relations. Everything that Swara Bhaskar, and by extension, because she was there in that frame, opposes. In the second instance, viewers, the Congress party has come out and promised Muslim quota if it is voted to power. And the man in the middle of your screens, viewers, Revanth Reddy, has come out and said that he has no qualms about granting privileges to a religious community above all others. This, as we all know, viewers, is expressly frowned upon by the Supreme Court. This demand is straight out of Jinnah's divisive playbook that not only led to the ghettoization of the Muslim community, but also bred a sense of Muslim separatism that culminated in the partition of India. Don't forget this. And that's why it is deemed illegal, viewers, by the Supreme Court. But the Congress party's promise will go down very well with several sectarian Muslim organizations that have made divisive demands, such as this, a precursor to offering Muslim support en bloc to the MVA. The Telangana Chief Minister, viewers, has come out and said, and I'll quote him, after forming the government in Maharashtra, we will discuss it. Muslim reservations. 4% reservation has already been implemented in Telangana. We did 5%. But since it led to a breach of the 50% barrier, the Supreme Court ordered to decrease that. In Telangana, we had a teacher recruitment of 11,000, of which 720 Muslims were recruited under the reservation. Those who are poor and those who are in need, it's Congress' responsibility to do justice to them, unquote. But viewers, ironically, despite making a mockery of constitutional secularism via these promises, via these meetings, these confabulations with individuals who clearly don't even put the Constitution right above there, it is a Congress that is staring into the Prime Minister for his call to unite Indians. You know, viewers, that the Prime Minister has come out with the call, Ek hain to safe hai. And he is making that appeal to all Indians, irrespective of their religion, their caste, their creed. But Congress President Kharge has attacked Modi for coining this term, ek hain to safe hai. Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress President, says, you are the one who is trying to divide the country. The Dalits, Adivasis, backward people of the country do not want to be divided. They just want a good and strong government which can do good for them. Viewers, if that is indeed the case, then why is the Congress singling out one particular community for privileges? What is a minority, viewers? It's not been very well defined clearly in the Constitution. If you go by that logic, viewers, of a minority, then pretty much every Hindu caste is a minority. Viewers, where will we stop this game? Where will we extend it to? How far will we take it? The BJP hit back at the Congress for its duplicity. BJP spokespersons Shahzad Poonawalla has come out and said Congress is disrespecting Dr. Ambedkar's constitution. There is no reservation policy for any religion. BJP national spokesperson Amit Malviya has come out and posted on platform X that Congress promises in Telangana, like Muslim reservation, also in Maharashtra, the BJP-led Mahayuti will never allow it. The BJP's attack on the Congress doesn't lack substance. It does appear that the MVA has put Muslims first all the way in Maharashtra. And let me just run you through some of these examples, and here are some hard facts, viewers, that I have brought to you, and these are inviolable. And I always bring these hard facts out so that you can get closer to the truth. The NCP star campaigner Supriya Sule said, we have said in the parliament that Dhangar, Maratha, Muslim, Lingayat and denotified nomadic tribes should be given reservation. I have said for the last 10 years in parliament, there is nothing new about it. Everybody in the Maha Vikas Aghadi, including Uddhav Thackeray, has agreed to it. It's a line which we have all taken, viewers, irrespective of party affiliations within the MVA. The NCP SPs Fahad Ahmed and his wife, Bollywood star turned activist Swara Bhaskar, met Maulana Sajjad Nomani at his office on 16 November. I've already told you what Nomani had to say. In April 2024, Uddhav Thackeray met a Muslim delegation in Matushri, told them that secularism was at stake in the 2024 polls. Rai Sheikh, Samajwadi Party MLA from Bhimandi East, said that the demands that are put forward by the Ulema Board, one of those sectarian organizations that has put forth 14 demands, will be taken into consideration. Not just the Muslim community, I believe every community is supporting the MVA. There's been a letter shared by Nayab Ansari, the Vice President of the AIUB, which is this particular organization, the Ulema Board. On the 30th of October, Nayab Ansari has gone out and said that in this letter, written by purportedly Congress leader Nana Patole, who's also the chief of the Congress in Maharashtra, has accepted the Ulema's board in exchange for support, which stated that the party expects support for Congress candidates from the board. Viewers, let's open this up without delay. And I want to be very blunt today, and I'll ask my question in a very blunt manner. We have with us Dr. Ranganathan. Tehseen Poonawalla will be here with us in a few moments. Rashid Kidwai needs no introduction. He's a senior journalist, a person who has been very well acquainted with politics, especially on the Congress front. Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP, also here with us. Now, let me begin with you first, Mr. Kidwai. Is it now clear from all these pronouncements, etc., that the MVA, the Congress-led MVA, is now peddling an openly pro-Muslim agenda? That it is becoming a Muslim-first bloc? Would you agree with me?
Not really. I think political parties during election season tend to make all kind of promises, and those promises sometimes they are interpreted differently by different political players, by political commentators, etc. Let's look at Maharashtra in terms of the reservations. The reservations, a lot of thrust is there on the sort of constitution. If you look at our constitution, reservations were even for Dalits, they were very temporary in nature. They were there for 10 years. They've been going on. Political parties tend to make it as if it's been a cornerstone of Indian constitution, including the Congress party. I would say all political parties do that. When it comes to quota for Muslims, many political parties don't imply that it is based on socio-economic backwardness, and more glaring.
Religious quotas, as you know, are not.
Yes,
legal.
yes, I am aware of it.
So how is it?
No, let me complete. So you look at Mahayuti or BJP. They have an ally with Mr. Ajit Pawar. What is Mr. Ajit Pawar saying? 10% quota for Muslims, again on the basis of socio-economic backwardness. What is the action that the BJP has taken?
10% quota for
he
Muslims.
has said
what
it.
he said was that I will reserve 10% seats.
10% seats.
No, that's
more
very different.
Glaring. More glaring.
No, 1 second.
And he's also talking about
seats. No, 1 second, sir. In my party, not in the state, not in the cabinet, not in the legislature, nowhere.
No,
he's saying that of all the tickets, 50 odd tickets, you know the number.
Tickets are not different.
50, that's what he's talking about. Tickets.
He is for quota.
No, sir, he's not. Please show me. Please show me.
Yeah, you see his statement.
Viewers, hang on. Viewers, the very
Tomorrow
clear.
you will say that whatever he has said about Nawab Malik.
Kidwai Saab, that's not right.
Yeah.
Please, let's not misquote the man. He's not here, of course, but you can please Google. Google is there with you. He said, I am reserving 10% of the 50 odd seats, tickets that I have got to give.
Yeah.
I'm reserving those,
so this is,
which he means representation. He means representation. He is in no way undermining the secular framework of our constitution by suggesting that I am going to reserve either in the House or, no please sir, or in any way, most importantly, in jobs, government jobs, or in any social...
Rahul, it's being done. You look at Bihar government, you look at Karnataka government.
No, hang on. One second, sir. 1 second.
All of them were giving.
You tell me something. In Maharashtra, the quota is already 50%. You know this? It has breached the cap.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How are they going to implement this, sir?
That is for the government to do. That's
not for the government. They brought in a Maratha quota. No, hang on. Fadnavis brought in a Maratha quota.
Yeah.
It went above the 50%. It was struck down. Today, you don't have a Maratha quota. So the only way you can bring, viewers, and this is important now. That's why I'm saying Muslim first. Why? The only way you can bring this quota is by taking the OBC share, which is already given, it's already maximum, to the Muslims.
Muslim...
Come on, Mr. Kidwai, isn't that a fact?
No. Please understand. First of all, see, we do not have a reservation policy as such. As I said,
you're saying a reservation.
Yeah.
No,
I said in the beginning also.
How is it that the topmost...
It is very ad hoc.
No, how is it that hang on. How is it, sir, that the topmost demand made by the AIMPLB and the Muslim Ulema Board are converging? Tehseen Poonawalla, he's also there. Let me ask him, how are these demands converging, Tehseen Poonawalla, between the Muslim Ulema Board, the MVA? One of their top demands was give us a quota, and on the last day, within hours of the poll closing, so that no one can now go out there and try and debate this. Revanth Reddy, the Chief Minister, has promised it, and he is not doing it in isolation. He's got the full backing. No one has come out and said what Revanth Reddy is saying cannot be done. Mr. Poonawalla.
Thank you, Rahul, for having me on the show.
Yeah.
I was there at what Revanth Reddy I was there, what Revanth Reddy said. Let me make it extremely categorical. The only reservations that can be given as per Baba Sahib Ambedkar's constitution is on backwardness. It cannot be given on religious grounds. Period. Secondly, all these demands that are coming in are demands. They are demands. You cannot fulfill them as per what is accepted by the constitutional methods. So that is how it will work. There is no other way this will work.
So Congress is lying, viewers. Can you believe it? Tehseen Poonawalla, who is part of the inner circle of the highest reaches of the Congress party, is saying that they're lying.
Please, 1 second. It's not. No, it's not. The same way reservations given in Andhra Pradesh, in Gujarat by Narendra Modi ji, reservations will be given in Maharashtra.
Andhra,
and for that, you will have to do the caste
reservations are in the
and the
Supreme Court.
socio-economic census,
Andhra
which is started in Telangana.
Andhra reservations are in the Supreme Court. Okay, there is a case against the Telangana reservations.
And Supreme Court refused to stay
One
there.
second. No. They're sub judice. They're sub judice.
Sorry, there's a lag and I don't
tell
want to appear rude. But there's a lag, therefore I'm talking over you. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. I understand. I've got that. I've understood that. But 1 second, viewers, this is very strange because we've already hit the quota max. Dr. Ranganathan in Maharashtra, we're already at 50%. The Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Fadnavis, Dr. Ranganathan, you know this, came out and said we are giving the Marathas the quota. This happened about 2 years ago. What happened to that
Yeah.
quota? It was struck down, scrapped. They said, sorry, 50% can't be given. So he had to come back with his tail between his legs. Jarange Patil is jumping around, starving himself. The others are running around saying that you cheated us. And here you have suddenly Revanth Reddy at the last gasp. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this? I'm asking you, and I'm going to be very honestly blunt, and I don't care if people say you're making it Hindu-Muslim, because this is what it is. Has the MVA become a Muslim-first grouping? Simple.
The answer is equally simple. Yes. Let me say it again. Yes. Rahul, you mentioned Jinnah. I will either have a divided India or a destroyed India, had said Jinnah. While he managed the former, trust me, the Congress is intent upon managing the latter through uncontrolled runaway appeasement, and unless one understands the various stages of it, you see, we can keep on nitpicking on one policy, one farman, this or that. We have to dive deeper. Unless one does that, one can neither recommend nor apply a cure to this disease, which is appeasement. So let me just please give me a couple of minutes. I want to, take you down to this road and make your viewers understand psychological impact of what is happening right now and the devastation this is going to cause. Rahul, the three stages of appeasement, I say they are welfare, wokefare, and warfare. And Congress is now unapologetic about projecting them as an achievement of sorts. Let me explain. The first stage of appeasement, welfare. Well, it starts innocuously with the flawed pretext that the Muslim minorities are worse off than the rest, and that they are victims, and that they are always exclusively suffering and fare worse off after every social strife, and that because of all this, not only do they need preferential care, it is the exclusive majority's obligation and moral duty to be preferential towards them. Not for nothing did Prime Minister Manmohan Singh assert that Muslims have the first right to resources. And so you have the state giving Muslims Hajj subsidy for decades, giving blanket reservations to Muslims, rich or poor, homeless or billionaires, by snatching it from the OBC quota, using taxpayers' money to host grand iftar parties, asking government-run UGC to fund minority institutions that keep 50% seats reserved for minorities, plundering state coffers to pay monthly salaries to tens of thousands of Maulvis, giving scholarships and shadi shagun to Muslim women, providing midday meal dining hall for only those schools having 70% or more minority students, giving interest-free loans to set up shops on Waqf land, funding hundreds of madrasas, the Islamic schools, and all this while grandly proclaiming that ours is a secular state. That is, there is total demarcation between state and religion. The next stage of Muslim appeasement, Rahul, is more dangerous. Wokefare. Wokefare targets the mind. This is the stage where the Indian state and Congress is employing a quite brilliant tactic to appease and benefit its Muslim vote bank. It poisons the Hindu's mind with self-loathing, hatred for his own religion and way of life, drilling apathy towards the slow destruction of Hinduism through speeches, broadcasts, policies, arts, culture, cinema. So you have Mahatma Gandhi saying, quote, Hindus should not harbor anger in their hearts against Muslims, even if the latter wanted to destroy us all. Even if the Muslims want to kill us, we should face death bravely. And if they establish their rule after killing Hindus, we would be ushering in a new world. So you have Nehru saying, trying to stop the president from attending the consecration of Somnath, saying he feared Hindu revivalism. So you have our roads, our institutions, our cities named after the barbarians who destroyed our roads, institutions, and our cities, opposing CAA, appointing Muslims on temple boards, overturning even Supreme Court judgments like the Shah Bano. It is but obvious that welfare and wokefare can only lead to the third, perhaps terminal stage of appeasement, and that is warfare. Rahul, just a minute. Warfare is when you enact laws and acts that constitutionally and legally favor one community and discriminate against other. So you have the Draconian Waqf Act, you have the conjunction of the RT with the 93rd Amendment that allows Muslim schools but not Hindu schools to escape keeping 25% reservation for the EW section. You have the state prohibiting Hindus to even approach the court to reclaim their demolished temples. You have the state controlling and taxing only temples and temple land but not mosques. You have terrorists, PFI cadres and writers being released. You have the Congress leaders defending Simi in court, its chief crying tears at Bartla encounter, its PM demanding an apology from Denmark for the perfect cartoon. So there we have it, Rahul, just 10 seconds. The three stages of appeasement: welfare, wokefare, and warfare. Jinnah must be laughing. His cackle echoes in the dungeons of Patal Lok below. In his life, he achieved the division of India. And in his death, he has achieved its destruction through the Congress.
You know, the last time I heard about the 3 Ws was in the context of cricket, viewers. The great West Indian greats. But I'll tell you, workfare is a term. Now, one of the leading exponents of workfare in this country is Swara Bhaskar, who's married to viewers, an NCP Sharad Pawar ticket aspirant who is going to, apparently, from all the news we are getting, going to win handsomely from this seat. Now, I want to bring you in, sir. Once again, I want to bring in Tuhin Sinha also. Mr. Kidwai, I'm going to show you some pictures of this young man who's married to Swara Bhaskar. He's sitting at the feet. Yeah, he's sitting at the feet of Mr. Nomani. You know who Mr. Nomani is?
Rahul,
do you know who Mr. Nomani is?
No, he may be a kind of Muslim clergy there.
No, he's not a Muslim clergy.
Yeah.
He's a spokesperson. He's a cleric, yes.
Yeah.
He's a spokesperson for the AIMLPB.
Yeah.
Sir, why is this man there? Can I ask you, why is he at the feet of an individual who says that if any Hindu party gets the vote of a Muslim, that Muslim will be disenfranchised? Why is he sitting at the feet of a person? And his wife also is there in that frame. She's on the other side of him. This photo has been shrunk, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, sir, she's sitting at the feet of an individual who says polygamy should be allowed, that women should always be kept in a hijab, that, sorry, we will oppose the UCC because it steps on our toes, and we want to continue the tradition of nikah halala. So do I need to tell you what nikah halala is, sir? If this is not Muslim appeasement all the way, if this is not, one second, let me bring in Mr. Kidwai and then I'll bring you in Tuhin Sinha. You need to square off with Mr. Kidwai, Mr. Tehseen Poonawala. They are militantly today dismissing this proposition that this is not a Muslim alliance. How is this not a Muslim alliance, sir? Would anybody who looks progressively at the politics, who calls themselves liberals, be sitting at the feet of these creatures?
Rahul, mixing of religion and politics is it should not be permissible.
But where does it happen? Where does it happen?
It's happening all over.
No, where does this happen? Does it happen in Pakistan? Yes.
No,
does it happen in Bangladesh?
No,
yes.
Don't bring.
Viewers, no, one second. If it's happening here, what are we doing?
It's happening. It's
We are
happening from
turning certain
Mizoram.
pockets
It's happening in
into-
Mizoram.
we are
It's happening in
talking
Kerala. It happens in a lot of states, and the election commission should do a crackdown.
Do you know what
on
the Kerala chief minister has said, sir, about the Congress party in Wayanad? That it is taking help of mainstream religious outfits that are radicals. And you are telling me, sir, that this behavior that political parties show in Pakistan, you know this. You know this. You know how Mr. Imran Khan and his, what is it, PIP or PPI or whatever it was in bed with the Maulvis there. You know this, sir.
Perhaps that's the case with Pakistan, but here we are not
How
talking
is this
about.
not?
We
This
are
is the
talking
same
about
case. Look
our
at the
democracy.
gentleman.
I am saying that in principle,
No, should this be
religion
allowed?
and politics should.
I'm asking you, sir. Put your hand on your heart. Should this be allowed?
No. What is the
There
thing?
she is, Swara
Look,
Bhaskar.
Is it the only instance? There are so many of various religions.
No, I'm asking
There
you,
is
sir. This is
from
a campaign.
Akali
He's
that-
gone there in the midst of a campaign
Listen,
seeking blessings.
Either you hear an argument,
Okay.
or if you want to say what you believe is correct, I am saying that this is not the only instance of a candidate or aspirant seeking a religious leader's blessings. We are from time immemorial, from the first election till this election in 1951, there have been numerous, thousands of instances.
Like Mr. Bukhari and Sonia Gandhi.
Yeah, you can go on saying, you can say that, see, there was a church was there in Mizoram which used to issue appeal. There are all kind of, Hindu
it's
mutts
okay.
and, yeah,
So
in
it's okay.
Karnataka. No, it's not okay.
Practice makes perfect.
No. What did I say? You didn't hear. I said the election commission should not allow any of such things.
Oh, I
That
see.
makes you
So
brilliant
it now
politics.
comes down to the election commission.
Mr.
viewers.
Balasaheb Thackeray was punished also by seeking votes in the name of religion. This is also a matter of
Actually, he
record.
took that matter to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And the EC lost,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yes.
By the way. Anyhow, yes, Tuhin Sinha wants to come in. Let's open this up. Dr. Ranganathan is there. Tehseen Poonawala is also scratching his head because he can't believe what is happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening, everybody. I would have
I would like to
appreciated
say
if Mr. Kidwai had condemned this Maulana.
I did.
Because, what he said was very dangerous. He was not, he was not just spewing venom upon the Hindu community. He was also calling for the social boycott of all Muslims supporting the BJP. So I would have appreciated if Mr. Kidwai had really condemned the person. You know,
Mr. Sinha,
Rahul,
you didn't hear me. Please allow me to. What did I say? I said election commission should have acted upon it.
No, the election commission, forget election commission. In your personal capacity, you should condemn the person because that person is calling for the social boycott of all Muslims.
What did I say?
So are you saying, sir? No, Mr. One second. No, let me. One second. Mr. Kidwai, is Swara Bhaskar and her husband, are they hypocrites? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are they hypocrites? She talks about how the RSS has brought religion into politics. What is she doing?
Yeah.
What is she doing? Is she a hypocrite?
Yes.
Yes. She's a hypocrite.
Like many political parties and individuals, she's one of them.
She's one of the hypocrites, viewers.
Yes.
One of the hypocrites. But viewers, you have not had Rahul Gandhi come out and say, I'm sorry, I hold the constitution in my hand, but I do not practice it because I cannot read. I like it blank.
You know, I think let's come to the Congress party. We can discuss the actress later. You know, Rahul, this is a watershed moment for the Congress party in its 139 years of existence. Never has the Congress party made a more overt attempt to be projected as Muslim League. I have the constitution book with me. It's the blue constitution book published in 2016 by the Lok Sabha Secretariat. You know, I don't know which constitution book Rahul Gandhi refers to, but
he has a pocket edition and it has been in the red. It has a red cover. It has it in the past. Let's not play red and blue. I'm only asking you. This is not a blue corner, red corner contest. This is not even a red corner notice. I'm asking you, sir. No, one second. To one second. He says, Mr. Kidwai says, all of you do it. You also go and take blessings from various peers and seers and mutts and all of that. So what is the difference?
No, first of all, I don't recall any, religious leader, Hindu religious leader calling for social boycott of Hindus voting for Congress party. So there is no comparison, there is no equivalence over here. I don't recall Hindu leaders supporting, age-old practices like nikah halala. So I don't think there is, I think let me make the larger point over here. Rahul Gandhi, the kind of Muslim appeasement, which he has attempted today is unparalleled. And like you rightly mentioned, there are 2 or 3 things coming together. The ulema demands, 17 of them, which you yourself pointed out, 14 of them are very similar to the ones raised by Muslim League, Mr. Jinnah 100 years ago. So all of these things need to be taken together. And yes, Congress is playing a very diabolic game. If you look at our campaign, we have been talking about multiple things. Ek hai to nek is just one part of the campaign. We are talking about $1 trillion economy for Maharashtra. But the Congress party in the last couple of weeks has been obsessed with Muslim reservation. Who's
dividing? Who's dividing by prioritizing? I want to read the constitution, viewers, tonight. I want to read the constitution that Rahul Gandhi holds up in his hand says, Article 15, it prohibits the state from making any discrimination, Tehseen Poonawalla, on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. And Article 16 ensures that these factors do not play a deciding role in matters related to employment or appointment to any office under the state. The Constitution does not define the word minority anywhere in its voluminous expanse. You tell me, Tehseen Poonawalla, by this logic, that we should give to minority religions, I have to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, and this is an important question, and you must answer tonight. Should every minority in the Hindu fold be given reservation? Everyone, sir. If you disaggregate the Hindu faith, there is a minority, every caste is a minority.
And if I can just take 10 seconds.
Yes, you take 10. Take 10.
Because Tehseen
I do believe...
He's logically correct also. Tehseen is logically correct. Tehseen, just 10 seconds, because the question's coming to you, if you don't mind. Because Tehseen makes it a point of specifying that in OBC, C means class, not caste. And that is why there are some Muslim castes that are classes that are provided reservations. This is how Tehseen says that, look, Muslims are being given reservations under the OBC quota because there are they belong to other backward class. So it's not just caste. He's technically right there. But what he is pulling a wool over the fact, or brushing it under the carpet, is that for 2 decades, mostly also under Congress rule, Muslims were being given 4% of blanket quota from the OBC. So it was not some preferential Muslim classes or castes that were given OBC quota. Rich, poor, billionaire, pauper, every Muslim was given 4% quota. Tehseen doesn't castigate or condemn this.
I'm sure he will. Tehseen Poonawala. Mr. Poonawala.
May I now please have, yes, may I please?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much. Just like Anand said, what the OBC stands for, I don't want to get into those details again. The fact of the matter is the only solution to this problem is what Rahul Gandhi ji is advocating, a caste census and a socio-economic census. We've had one started in Telangana. If the government can release a 2011 data, which is with the government, which Arun Jaitley ji, Amit Shah ji and Rajnath Singh ji promised. Now let's come to the issue at hand. What an actor or her husband, Mr. Bhaskar, do is really individual actions. I, for one, don't stand for any of these Maulanas or Panditjis, just like I don't stand for Ram Rahim coming out of jail when the BJP is fighting elections in Haryana every single time. And I practice, you've rightfully condemned Rahul continuously. Every time there's an election, Ram Rahim is out of jail and he's convicted. The issue out here is not what Mr. Bhaskar does or what individuals do. What is the political stand of the MVA? Revanth Reddy today said in my city of Pune, this is before I came to Delhi in this gas chamber, that we will talk about it once the government is formed. The Congress's official document and the MBA's document do not talk about reservations, and that's final. Thirdly and lastly, whoever goes to whoever, whichever religious leader, just like Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee went to Imam Bukhari asking for votes, I think that practice should end. And I agree with what my friend from the SP, Mr. Kedwai, is saying. The Election Commission can bring in rules to stop this, but they won't do it. The BJP won't do it. And I'll tell you why. Because the BJP gains from this polarization. Guess what are we discussing? We're discussing some actor and her husband meeting some Maulana, not the genocide happening in Manipur.
Some
genocide's happening in Manipur.
Maulana.
A genocide is happening in
Some
Manipur.
Maulana.
A gas chamber. We've got a cancer pandemic in Delhi. And you're right in raising what you're doing.
No.
But we're not discussing that.
One second. Tehseen Poonawala, just very quickly. Yes, I'll just bring you in, doctor. 1 second, 30 seconds. You see, this statement has not been made in isolation. Have we forgotten what Supriya Sule is saying? And Supriya Sule is not some innocent bystander to this election. She's the chief campaigner for the Sharad Pawar NCP that has 83 seats in this election. Huge amount of skin in the game. She says, we have said in the parliament that Dhangar, Maratha, Muslim, Lingayat and denotified nomadic tribes should be given reservation. I have said it for the last 10 years in parliament. There is nothing new about it. It's there on your screens, viewers. And she says, everybody in the Maha Vikas Aghadi, including Uddhav Thackeray, the Sanatani, has agreed to it. It's a line which we have all taken. So poor Revanth Reddy is only giving expression to what has been agreed behind closed doors in an arrangement with Muslim groups who are sectarian, who have said that if you don't give us this quota, our community will not vote for you. Tehseen Poonawala. Game, set, match.
No, just there are two issues here. Just 1 second. Does the BJP spokesperson disagree that the poor Marathas and the Lingayats in Maharashtra should not get reservation? Is that his stand officially? That's what Supriya. She's spoken about 4 categories. We only take one.
Muslims
Number
is what
2,
we are talking about, because that is
irreligious.
irreligious.
Socio-economic census, which Rahul Gandhi is proposing.
Can I
Sorry?
Yeah, respond, Tehseen. Tuhin.
I don't understand. Suddenly, the Congress doesn't understand something as basic as the difference between a religion and a caste. This is precisely the whole point of this debate. Obviously there are...
OBC comes under the caste category, my friend. It's class.
But those are
not when every Muslim is given it.
Ratified by the National Commission for Backward Castes in each state.
It won't. It's on the socio-economic criteria.
Anything in excess of that amounts to a violation of the spirit of the Constitution. Mamta Banerjee did something similar, and the entire reservation which she had awarded to
this Punch and Judy show. Hang on. This Punch and Judy show needs to be ended. I'm telling you, viewers. The fact is that one particular bloc has decided they're going to wear their affiliation on their sleeve, come what may. It's Bonnie and Clyde, whatever. They are going to wear it and you have to vote for it. In fact, let me tell you what Revanth Reddy has said in full. He says that all Hindus who are voting for the MVA are also voting to give quotas to their Muslim brothers. That's his full statement. Full statement. Viewers, you decide. Ball is in your court. I want to move on because, viewers, I always put uncomfortable issues up front, viewers. I know tonight that some people will be very discomforted. They will accuse me of raking up an old wound, scratching at it. But even when the Kashmir files were released, viewers, I said that the filmmaker and the film had every right to be viewed and commented upon. Just like the Kashmir files that depicted the untold story of the Hindu genocide in Kashmir in 1990. Another film, the Sabarmati Report, purports to tell the story of the Godhra train burning that triggered widespread rioting in Gujarat in February 2002, viewers. This film has hit the theatres and has been embraced by the public. The movie making not so much because it underlines that the Godhra train burning was a well-planned conspiracy against the passengers who were car sevaks returning from Ayodhya, but because it establishes how a section of the left media, also called, quote, the Congress ecosystem, unquote, tried to build an alternative narrative that whitewashed the crimes of the radical Muslims who executed the dastardly act of terror. Indeed, while the film is quite theatrical, it is emotional. It is not wrong when it alleges that, like pseudo-left liberal media held Hindus responsible not only for the subsequent riots in Gujarat, but also for the Godhra carnage, viewers. Various theories were made up to explain how the train bogie caught fire. In fact, there were 3 of them, 4 of them, one suffered the most. More than 20 women perished. More than 20 young children perished. In all, 57 died in that inferno. The reasons included everything except the proven reality that a mob of Muslims first stoned the train and then set the coach on fire. Nanavati Mehta Commission had concluded that it was a mob of Muslims that set the train coach ablaze. The Gujarat riots were in fact never viewed by this ecosystem as a spontaneous violent reaction to the Godhra train burning, but as an act of premeditated state-sponsored terror. The ecosystem painted this picture to indict the BJP-run Gujarat government, as then Chief Minister Narendra Modi, despite eyewitnesses having deposed before the commission linking the burning to an act of arson. One storied ecosystem journalist, and if I name that person, viewers, it won't be pretty, so I'm not. This ecosystem journalist wrote, and I quote, "Is there a design flaw in the construction of Indian rail cars that makes them fire-prone? Was some flammable material already present in the coach, like gas or kerosene, which caught fire inadvertently? Was there an agent provocateur, an agent provocateur on board bent on causing maximum damage," almost implying that the car sevaks themselves carried this out. This is just one attempt at trying to spread disinformation. There are several others. Unsurprisingly, the Prime Minister, who doesn't usually tweet on motives, lauded the filmmakers in their attempt to expose the conspiracy to twist the narrative to suit a political end. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the truth. He posted on platform X yesterday, and I quote, "It is good that this truth is coming out, and that too in a way common people can see it. A fake narrative can persist only for a limited period of time. Eventually the facts will always come out," unquote. The reviews in the mainstream ecosystem-run press are predictably critical of the efforts of the movie makers, viewers. The selectiveness becomes obvious when one compares the reviews that the Sabarmati Report or the Kashmir Files got with the flattering reviews that Parzania or Shikara or other films, viewers, that were watched by even Rahul Gandhi and that were made on the same events received. Parzania documented the travails of a Parsi family that survived the Gujarat riots. Shikara firstly glossed over the lingering sense of betrayal and pain that hangs over the Kashmiri Hindu community, but then also placed the onus of reconciling to the unprosecuted Holocaust on the victims themselves. Viewers, here is how the ecosystem was selective, and let me run you through this graphic. in the first instance, you can see it on your screen. Viewers, to the left is a review in a mainstream broadsheet of the Sabarmati Report, and to the right is a review in the mainstream broadsheet of Parzania. And the one, viewers, on Sabarmati says, Vikram Massey film has no nuance, just judgment. This is what it says, viewers, very critically. The review on Parzania in the same newspaper many years ago says, thank you, Mr. Dholakia, for articulating what many of us want to say, but have had guts to say it in a medium that has virtually become a mall for the senseless and the spurious. So basically, he was commended for making a brilliantly sensible film, viewers. Parzania. Instant 2, Kashmir Files. Look at the, again, viewers, the dichotomy. One mainstream broadsheet said, employing some facts, some half-truths and plenty of distortions, Vivek Agnihotri propels an alternative view about the Kashmir issue with the intent to not just provoke but incite. The Shikara review on the same subject, viewers, another film made by another top director, that says a humanist call for peace and almost preempted the arrival of the Kashmir Files. Director Vidhu Vinod Chopra's Shikara is both an antidote to and the antithesis to that film. So viewers, they don't want you to talk about any instance where Hindus might have suffered. Why has this ecosystem got this problem? Why is the ecosystem panning this film? What is making it nervous? Let's open this up. Let's ask some frank and honest questions. And once again, viewers, I'll be accused of making this Hindu-Muslim, but it is nothing but that, viewers. The reasons why the Kar Sevaks, Dr. Ranganathan, were targeted in Godhra were because they were Hindus returning from a Kar Seva, and they went for that Kar Seva for the Mahayagya to Ayodhya. At that time, of course, there was no Ram Mandir. That's why they were targeted. Let's not run away from it. But we weren't given that to believe. We were given to believe that it was a cooking accident. Weren't we?
Absolutely, Rahul. Look, the Godhra train burning and the riots that followed, they sprung hundreds of conspiracy theories and thousands of activists who peddled these theories. But ultimately, each one of their lies, including that infamous action and reaction quote attributed to Modi, each one of their lies was exposed, not in the least by the SIT and the courts that, did not hold Modi as the perpetrator of these riots. The fake activists called it a genocide against Muslims without ever mentioning the truth that the number of people killed in Gujarat riots following the Godhra train burning was 262 Hindus as well. Yeah. And 863 Muslims, without mentioning that 61 Hindus and 40 Muslims were killed in police firing, without mentioning that of the 25,486 people identified as accused in the riot-related activities, 7,997 were Muslims, without mentioning that 98 relief camps were set up, out of which 85 housed Muslim victims and 13 also housed Hindu victims. But above and beyond that, I'll tell you how the fake narrative subsisted for 20 years. It is because we remember, or are made to remember over the last 10 years, who were Pehlu Khan and who were Akhlaq. But here is a question I pose. Do we know who were Nilima, Jyoti, Prema, Jeevi, Devkala, Zaver, Mittal, Neeta, Harshad, Pratiksha, Neeru, Chaya, Chirag, Sudha, Mala, Arvind, Umakant, Sadashiv, Mani, Jaisal, Mansukh, Rati, Jamna, Shanta, Indira, Rajesh, Sheila, Manjula, Champa, Diwali, Lalita, Mangu, Pralad, Bhimji, Lakhu, Vitthal, Sailesh, Amrut, Narendra, Raman. Do we know even each of their names? These are the names of the 59 men, women and children who were burnt alive. But forget that. Do we know who were Haji Bilal and Abdul Razak? They were the Congress leaders convicted for the crime and sentenced to death.
Congress leaders convicted and sentenced to death, viewers. That's why today there are people like Mr. Rajput, Hassan Dalwai, who are coming out and saying this is all lies, fabrication. The Sabarmati Report, this film is a fabrication. It is again, same thing that was said about Kashmir Files, Mr. Srivastava, that this has been done to incite. I've quoted the review also from the newspaper. Look at the tone. So, Mr. Srivastava, I just have to ask you, would there have been a Gujarat riots for which all of you, not you personally, but a large number of people in the ecosystem, some of the limo liberals that drive around the countryside were accusing Mr. Modi for what is the better part of a decade, maybe even more. They still do. Despite the Supreme Court, those are people who said that the BBC documentary was showing the absolute truth and nothing but the truth. Now, I want to ask you, sir, would there have been a Gujarat riots without Godhra?
So let me, Rahul, good evening.
Good evening,
So let
sir.
me surprise you, because I think you have already decided to put me in a particular slot.
No, no, not at all.
And
not
question
at all,
me,
not at all. You know me, I'm
though
never
you actually
presumptuous.
said I am not talking about you.
Yeah, I said so.
But you talked about limo liberals, this, that, driving around the country, ecosystem. So I think it's fine to attack that ecosystem. I always believe, and I have always believed, that Gujarat riots was a fallout of the Godhra train burning. It wouldn't have happened if there was no Godhra. At the same time, I have also always maintained that yes, Godhra happened, it was very bad, very wrong, but the Gujarat riots should also have been managed properly, and I don't see being part of any ecosystem because I hold that view. See, you can always find a balance. You can always say
No, 1 second.
that was
Srivastava
very
ji,
wrong,
no,
Godhra,
Mr. Srivastava,
but that
no one
complete?
is disputing one thing, which is that yes, administration could have been more proactive. But what was the thrust of the charge? The thrust of the charge was not that, it wasn't as, the allowance wasn't made for Mr. Modi as it was made for Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, not once but twice over, and for Farooq Abdullah, and for the entire Kashmir elite, political elite. So I want to ask you, wasn't it said about Mr. Modi that he was directly involved, that he and Mr. Amit Shah planned this deliberately, the retribution, that they sat on their hands, they did nothing. There was a bunch of people from within the Gujarat administration that were picked up and made to say things, or I don't know, somehow ended up saying that yes, we were there and Mr. Modi did this and Mr. Modi did that to try and instigate, pre-plan, premeditate this entire thing, even when I, in another channel, 2 channels removed from this one, as editor-in-chief, brought out a whole series of reports showing the inconsistencies, interviewing the people, going into it. This is when Mr. Modi was not even the Prime Minister, viewers. This was 2013, in that famous run for the Prime Ministership. Even then, Mr. Srivastava, there were people, as they are today, who say, no, Mr. Modi was part of a premeditated plan. And you are saying something different. I want to ask you, why were these people, why do they continue to say this? Why was this whole, and I don't want to name names, but I have a whole series of articles here in my hand. I can tell you by name what they have said. And that'll be very embarrassing. Some of them go with you in those lovely stretch limousines or whatever it is and survey the countryside and the mood on the ground and then come back and tell us that, yes, so-and-so is winning and so-and-so losing, this, that, the other. You know what I'm talking about.
So, Rahul, your questions or comments are about 5x longer than my answers. I barely spoke 2 sentences before you came in.
I have to put the context.
And I have the whole thing is I'm just so sorry to disappoint you again and again. I am in agreement with you. And just because some of the people whom I travel with think something, doesn't necessarily mean that we are always traveling or fellow companions.
No, because these are the first people who, these are the first people who talk about Godi media. I want to ask you, were they establishment media? You can at least answer that question. Sanjeev ji.
Sorry.
You can't even answer that.
If you will allow me to, I love your voice, I love your sense of arguments and your vocabulary and the way you conduct yourself as an anchor. I'm very happy to listen to you. So if you interrupt me after every sentence, I don't know how can I say what I want to say. But so I think both in Kashmir, because you talked repeatedly of Kashmir files, which I didn't see. I haven't seen Sabarmati Report so far. But the broad thrust of argument, I am on the same page as you, whether you like it or not. So I don't know how your debate will now get balanced.
No, it's nothing. I'm not looking at balancing.
Because I am not the punching bag in this case.
I'm asking you. This is the question I'm trying to ask you. As a senior journalist.
Will not be the punching bag.
No. This is not about you as a punching bag. Please listen to what I'm saying. You're not I'm making a distinction. I'm only asking you, were you aware that amongst a fraternity of your age group that positioned themselves in a particular ideological framework, that there was a motivated attempt to try and warp the narrative around Gujarat? That's the question I'm asking. I'm not asking you whether you were culpable or whether you agree with me or disagree.
Rahul, but that has always been the case.
Oh.
There is a certain left of center thinking media which thinks everything about right and right of center is wrong, and they see an agenda, a particular way of seeing everything. And the reverse is equally true. There are people who will worship Mr. Modi like God, as if he has never done anything wrong, which is equally true. So there are two sides. So the centrist approach or the middle of the road approach is not there in the media, whether it's Godi or Modi or whatever.
How quickly, viewers, quickly the same people who label one segment as Godi media, and some of them are my relatives also, viewers. Let me be very candid with you.
Please don't mention them. Because
no, I won't. I know you leave the show. I know you leave the show, but I won't go there. I won't go there, Dr. Ranganathan. I won't go there. But I know, viewers, I know how this game is played. They label. And they've been doing it consistently, assuming the high ground. Viewers today, they're exposed and they're jumping. They're trying to castigate this movie. Even now, we can't discuss it, you see, viewers. So, even now. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, Mr. Punawala.
Why don't you get one of those people on your show?
Sir, if they were so... I remember what I said. They label and they cancel. They label and they cancel. Tehseen Punawala wants to come in. Tehseen Punawala wants to come in. Tehseen Punawala, why has everyone got a problem with this movie? Especially the Congress party. Why?
Rahul, there are two issues, and I'm very clear on this, that no movie, no news channel, no art, nothing should be censored. You must have free speech. Free speech must be absolute. There will obviously sometimes be bad speech, but bad speech is what leads to good speech. Only if there's bad speech can you appreciate good speech. So I'm all for not censoring. I think that since we're talking about the movie, I think a better movie or a better documentary should be made. Hold on. A documentary was made countering what this movie is made. It was banned. It was banned by Mr. Modi. I stood up for that documentary not being banned, and this movie is made by my friends. A friend of mine is acting in it as the main protagonist, Vikrant. I am standing for this movie not being boycotted. But Mr. Modi has a habit of banning movies. He's done it in Gujarat. He banned Fana, Parzania, he banned Firak, he banned a number of movies out there. So there is a habit that the Prime Minister today endorsing a movie himself has banned movies. I think what should hold true is nothing
Rahul,
should
can
be
I
banned.
make a point here?
And for this specific issue, a newspaper was charged with sedition.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not done. If I could just finish.
Yeah, finish your point.
A newspaper was charged with sedition.
There is a delay, Mr. Sinha, there's a delay. Let him just finish. Let him finish. There's a delay. Let him finish.
When the Prime Minister was... Thank you. When the Prime Minister was Chief Minister of Gujarat, he charged a newspaper, let me make it very clear, not individual journalists, a newspaper with sedition. Now my question is, for those who today stand up for free speech, I've stood up for free speech all my life. Do they today accept what the Prime Minister did as Chief Minister, banning movies, banning the documentary as Prime Minister, putting sedition charges on newspapers? That is the question that needs to be asked.
Oh, that's
Nothing should be banned is my stand. Let's see what they say.
Sinha and a fact check coming, viewers, and a fact check coming. And a fact check coming, and Tehseen might exit the show before the fact check. Yes.
It was...
Go ahead.
It was not just, it was not just about the Congress and left ecosystem trying to demonize the Hindu community by deliberately spreading falsehood about this train burning. It was one of the prime culprits was Lalu Yadav and the UPA government. If you remember, while the Nanavati Mehta Commission was investigating the case, very hastily, Lalu Yadav, the then railway minister, set up a parallel committee called the UC Banerjee Committee, which was a one-person committee, which within a span of a few months provided a very hasty, concocted report, passing off the whole episode as an accident. Obviously, later on in 2008, when the Nanavati Commission finally concluded its report, the findings were upheld by the court also. In 2011, 31 people were convicted, and, in 2017, the Gujarat High Court upheld the court.
Okay.
But why was it all done? That is the most important question. There was a twofold clear malified objective to paint the Hindu community as unnecessarily violent community, and to paint the entire Gujarat riots as a well-planned genocide.
To discredit the opposition, which was at that time the BJP. Now, viewers, I just want to tell you, the economic political weekly is not anywhere associated with the right of centre. Dr. Ranganathan, and it clearly said that the Gujarat government has not banned the film Parzania, which is based on the poignant and true story of a Parsi family in Ahmedabad that was caught up in the communal pogrom. The same Bharatiya Janata Party led by Narendra Modi did not ban Amir Khan's films Fana or Rang De Basanti last year either. It is just that Modi's government has nurtured, in their words, an atmosphere in the state that encourages fundamentalists to intimidate. So, fact check, viewers, nothing to do with the government. The chaps who made the film lost the appetite to show it. Yes, quickly, Dr. Ranganathan, 30 seconds.
I was just saying, look, Sanjeev is a very dear friend, but it's unlike him to play the...
Sorry, you finish, please. I don't have time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a time delay, Tehseen, because you are with Rahul Gandhi on Jupiter. So please, there's a couple of minutes delay there. No, Sanjeev, I never expect Sanjeev to play the victim card, and he shouldn't.
There's a time delay because Manipur is not being spoken about, where there's a genocide.
The situation, Sanjeev, is I know for 22 years. Journalists kept quiet when Congress was culpable for the burning of the train. Journalists kept quiet. In fact, Mr. Mahurkar, the Chief Information Commissioner, had to come out, go to Gujarat and debunk the claim of Arundhati Roy.
Okay.
That macabre about being split.
I have to leave it at this, viewers. We must have these conversations. A whole generation of young people don't know anything about this, and they only get their information from left-leaning media, viewers. I'll take a short break.
Dadu,
Yes?
what does premium mean?
Beta, premium you can say is like petrol. The car will keep going till the time it has petrol. Once petrol is over, the car stops.
But Dad, this time even if the petrol is over, our car won't stop.
How come?
With LIC's Jeevan Labh, even after the premium payment tenure is over, the policy's benefits continue.
That means our journey of happiness will continue non-stop.
LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
रोज खुद को टेस्ट करते रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि टेस्ट करने से आदमी बेटर बनता है. क्यों है? इसलिए जब हेल्थ टेस्ट की बात आती है तो मैं भरोसा करता हूं इंडियाज लार्जेस्ट डायग्नोस्टिक्स कंपनी एजिलिस डायग्नोस्टिक्स. खुद को टेस्ट करते रहो.
माँ के पैरों की धूल माथे पर लगाऊं, मैं परिंदा खुले आसमान का जहां जीत लूं सारा.
अबे गुल्लू, क्या कर रहे हो?
कपाल भाती.
यहाँ
ऑर्डिनरी प्लाई जैसे हार्मफुल गैसेस नहीं है. खुल के सांस लो.
हाँ, यहाँ सब ग्रीन प्लाई, जीरो एमिशन प्लाई से तो बना है. अबे एक मिनट, हम भी करते हैं.
शाबाश. ग्रीन प्लाई का जीरो एमिशन प्लाई, हेनली इंटीरियर्स का रिप्लाई.
पता ही नहीं चलता ये शादी के रंग आप पे कब चढ़ गए. कब चुपके से आप एक मान्यवर बन गए. आप कब बन रहे हैं मान्यवर.
जब हिंदुस्तान मिले हिंदुस्तान से.
Visit your nearest JK Tyre Steel Wheel store today.
Today was the longest day of our ride. We ride around 300 kilometers.
यही एक मैसेज मतलब पास कर रहे हैं कि not only clean fuel, how to make our environment clean.
मैं आप सब बाइकर्स और अबुल ग्रुप के सब कर्मचारी का सुमूल डे में स्वागत करता हूँ. मैं साथ में बजाज का भी सपोर्ट है सीनियर साहब का, तो उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ. मैं
इन वर्ल्ड फर्स्ट CNG बाइक बजाज ने बनाया है, तो ये हमारा गर्व है. पहली बार बजाज ये रैली में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं.
आप सब
जानते हैं कांग्रेस का अगला सदर ही आजाद हिंदुस्तान का पहला प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने। सबने एकमत होके सरदार पटेल को चुना।
इस पार्टी को, हम सबको सरदार की जरूरत है और देश को जवाहर की।
देखिए फ्रीडम एट मिडनाइट सोनी लिव पर।
The next Indian icons, beating everyone on the globe. A new perspective awaits. B6E and XEV9E. Mahindra's electric origin SUVs. Catch them at Unlimit India.
सर आप बहुत लकी हैं कि आपके बेटे ने हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस और बाकी सारी फॉर्मेलिटीज टाइम से पूरी कर दी है।
मेरा बेटा?
तो फिर आप?
पॉलिसी बाजार।
क्लेम के टाइम पे हमेशा आपकी हेल्प को तैयार। पॉलिसी बाजार, 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
झंझनाहट से जल्द आराम पाएं।
Co-presented by JK Tire Puncture Guard. Say goodbye to flat tires.
Hello, namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Another week, another Western power harboring Khalistani terrorists. This time it is New Zealand, where a pro-Khalistan referendum was held. Who organized it? Why was it allowed? And why is the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance blind to Khalistani terrorism? We'll discuss all of that. In Bangladesh, the unelected interim government may last longer than a US presidential term. Yunus says they may stick around for 4 years. And they've initiated moves to seek Sheikh Hasina's extradition from India. Meanwhile, people in Delhi must be wondering if they should leave. The city has turned into a toxic gas chamber with AQI levels crossing 1700. The Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, is in Brazil for the G20 summit. We'll tell you all about it. India has successfully tested its first hypersonic missile and entered an elite military club of nations. In China, a string of mass murders has triggered a nationwide conversation. It's something that investors are tracking closely. We'll tell you why. What triggered the latest flare-up in Manipur? Is Temu the next TikTok? Why Jennifer Lopez's performance in Saudi Arabia is trending on social media, and why Google's AI chatbot told a student to die. All this and more coming up. The headlines first. Germany to send 4,000 AI-guided drones to Ukraine, but Berlin refuses to give Kiev the long-range Taurus missile system. On Sunday, the US allowed Ukraine to use its long-range missiles to target Russia. After Washington, Berlin is Kiev's second biggest supplier of military aid. The European Union and the UK widened their sanctions against Iran over Tehran's support for Russia's war on Ukraine. It includes targeting vessels and ports used to transfer drones and missiles. But Iran has rejected the accusations made by the West, claiming it has not transferred missiles or drones to Moscow for use against Kiev.